I stand in the doorway of what used to be our family room, my hands trembling as I grip my purse. The house feels wrong, too quiet, missing something essential like a heartbeat that's stopped. Max? I call out, my voice cracking slightly. Max, baby, where are you? Nothing. No excited barking. No clicking of nails against the hardwood floor. No golden retriever bounding toward me with that goofy smile and wagging tail that's been my only source of joy these past 3 months. My daughter-in-law Jessica appears from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a dish towel with the casual indifference of someone who's just finished an ordinary chore. She's 32, impeccably dressed even at home, her dark hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail that somehow makes her sharp features look even more severe. "Oh, you're back early," she says, barely glancing at me. "I thought you'd be at the grief support group longer." "Where's Max?" I ask, my heart already sinking because something in her tone tells me I'm not going to like the answer. Jessica shrugs, draping the towel over her shoulder. "I sold him." The words hit me like a physical blow. For a moment I can't breathe, can't process what I've just heard. "You… what?" "I sold the dog, Linda, to a family across town. They seemed nice enough, had kids who were excited about him." My legs feel unsteady. I move to the couch and sit down before I fall down. "How could you do that? Max was mine. He was a nuisance," Jessica interrupts, her voice matter of fact. "The fur was everywhere, Linda. Do you know how much time I spend cleaning this house? Every single day sweeping up golden hair from every corner, every cushion, every piece of furniture. And the smell? Dog smell, no matter how often you bathe them. The whole house reeked." I stare at her, trying to find words, but my throat has closed up. I'm seeing Michael's face 3 months ago in that hospital bed, so pale and weak, holding my hand with what little strength he had left. "Take care of Max for me," he'd whispered, his blue eyes still bright despite everything the cancer had stolen from him. "I got him for you, so you wouldn't be alone. Promise me you'll keep him, Linda. Promise me." I'd promised. I'd held his hand and promised through my tears, and 2 days later, he was gone. "Linda, are you even listening to me?" Jessica's sharp voice cuts through the memory. "I'm trying to explain why this was the practical choice. We can't have a dog in this house anymore. It's too much work, and frankly, neither of us is home enough to properly care for it." "He wasn't an it," I managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. "His name was Max, and he was the last gift my husband gave me before he died." Jessica's expression doesn't soften. If anything, her jaw tightens with irritation. "I understand that you're sentimental about it, but we have to be realistic. This is my house now, too. David and I live here, and we should have a say in what kind of animals we keep." "Your house?" The words slip out before I can stop them. Well, yes. David inherited it when his father passed. We're all living here together, which means we all need to make compromises. I've been more than patient with that dog for 3 months, Linda. 3 months of hair and drool and muddy paw prints and that constant barking whenever someone came to the door. I close my eyes, remembering Max's enthusiastic greetings, the way he'd press his warm body against my legs when I cried, how he'd lay his head on my lap during the long, empty evenings when the silence of Michael's absence threatened to swallow me whole. "You had no right," I say quietly. "I had every right. I'm trying to maintain a clean, organized home, and that dog made it impossible. You should be thanking me, honestly. Now you won't have to worry about feeding him or taking him out or any of that responsibility. At your age, it's probably too much anyway." At my age, I'm 52 years old, not ancient, despite how Jessica's tone makes me feel in this moment. "Where is he?" I ask, opening my eyes to look directly at her. "What family? What address?" Jessica waves her hand dismissively. "I don't remember exactly. Some people who answered an ad I posted online. They came, they liked him, they took him. Cash transaction. Very simple. You don't remember their names, their address, anything?" "Linda, it was just a dog sale. I didn't conduct a background check. They seemed fine. The kids were happy. That's all that matters. I stand up, my legs steadier now as anger begins to replace shock. You sold my husband's last gift to me to complete strangers, took their money and didn't even bother to remember who they were or where they lived. For the first time, Jessica looks slightly uncomfortable. Don't be dramatic. It's not like I threw him out on the street. I found him a good home where he'll actually be wanted and appreciated. He was wanted. He was appreciated. By me. Oh, please. You barely paid attention to him. You were so wrapped up in your grief, moping around the house, crying at random moments. That dog deserved better than being a comfort object for a sad widow. The cruelty of her words takes my breath away. I've known Jessica could be cold, practical to a fault, but this is something else entirely. Get out, I say quietly. Excuse me? Get out of this room. Right now. Before I say something we'll both regret. Jessica's eyes narrow. This is my house, Linda. You can't tell me where I can and cannot go. It's Michael's house, I correct her, my voice gaining strength. Michael's name is still on the deed. The house passes to David in trust. But I have lifetime tenancy rights. Your name isn't anywhere on the paperwork. Her face flushes. That's just a technicality. David and I are married. What's his is mine. Get out. She stares at me for a long moment, clearly weighing whether to push this confrontation further. Finally, she tosses her hair and stalks toward the hallway. Fine. I have errands to run anyway. But this conversation isn't over, Linda. We need to establish some ground rules about living together, and one of them is going to be no more pets. She grabs her designer purse from the hall table and slams the door on her way out. The house shakes slightly from the force of it. I sit back down on the couch, my whole body trembling now. Tears stream down my face as I pull out my phone. My neighbour Margaret answers on the second ring. Linda? Honey? What's wrong? Max is gone, I sob. Jessica sold him. To strangers. She said she doesn't even remember their names. Oh my God. Oh, Linda, no. When did this happen? Today, while I was at group. Margaret, I need help. I need to find him. Okay, stay calm. We'll figure this out. Did she post the ad online? Can you access her computer? I wipe my eyes, forcing myself to think practically. Maybe. She uses the desktop in the study sometimes, Michael's old computer. Check there. Look for any emails, any posts, anything. I'm coming over right now. We're going to find Max, honey, I promise you. Margaret arrives 20 minutes later, letting herself in with the spare key I gave her years ago. She finds me in Michael's study, scrolling through Jessica's email account on the desktop. I know it's an invasion of privacy, but I'm far beyond caring about that right now. Anything? Margaret asks, setting down a bag from the corner store. She used Michael's old Craigslist account, posted the ad 4 days ago. I turn the monitor so Margaret can see. Look, golden retriever, 4 years old, well-trained, good with kids, $200 firm. Margaret leans in, her reading glasses sliding down her nose. Did anyone respond? I click through the messages. 3 people. 2 of them Jessica turned down because they wanted to negotiate the price. But this one, I point to an email chain from yesterday. This one she accepted. They agreed to meet this morning at 10. What's their email address? I write it down. Some generic Gmail account. No real name attached. Margaret pulls out her phone. I'm calling my son. He's a detective, remember? He can do a reverse search. Maybe trace the email or at least give us some advice on how to proceed. While Margaret makes the call, I scroll through more of Jessica's emails. My anger builds with each one I read. She's been complaining about Max for weeks to her friends, calling him the widow's emotional support animal, with such disdain it makes my blood boil. In one email, she writes, I swear that dog is the only thing Linda cares about anymore. She barely talks to David and me, just mopes around with that mangy mutt. I'm doing everyone a favour by getting rid of it. Okay, Margaret says, hanging up. Brian's going to see what he can find out. But Linda, honey, in the meantime, we should check local pet stores, groomers, vets. Maybe post on those lost pet Facebook groups. Someone might have seen him. I nod, wiping my eyes again. Thank you, Margaret. I don't know what I'd do without you. You'd do exactly what you're doing now, honey. fighting for what matters. That dog is family. Jessica had no right. We spend the next several hours on the phone and computer. Margaret posts Max's picture on every local Facebook group she can find. I call every veterinary clinic within 20 miles, every groomer, every pet supply store. Nobody's seen him. By 6 o'clock, I'm exhausted and heartbroken. Margaret has gone home to make dinner for her husband, but promised to come back later. I'm sitting alone in the kitchen when David comes home from work. My son looks so much like Michael it sometimes hurts to look at him. Same dark hair, same strong jawline, same blue eyes. But where Michael was warm and compassionate, David has always been more reserved, more practical, more like his wife. Mom? You okay? Jessica said you guys had an argument. Did she tell you what it was about? He sets his briefcase down and loosens his tie. Something about Max. Look, Mom, I know you're attached to him. But Jessica has a point about the fur situation. It's been pretty bad. She sold him, David. While I was at my grief support group, she sold your father's last gift to me to complete strangers for $200. David's face goes pale. What? She sold Max. To a family she can't even identify. Took cash and sent him away without telling me, without asking me, without even considering what that dog meant to me. He sinks into a chair across from me. I didn't know. She told me she was going to talk to you about maybe rehoming him, but I didn't think she'd actually talk to me. David, when has Jessica ever talked to me about anything? She tolerates me living here, but let's not pretend there's any real communication between us. He rubs his face with both hands. This is bad. Mum, I'm sorry, I should have been paying more attention. Yes, you should have, but sorry doesn't bring Max back. I've been searching all day and I can't find him. The people who bought him are ghosts. She can't even remember what they looked like beyond a couple with kids. I'll talk to her. When she gets home, I'll make her understand that this was completely out of line. Will you? I look at my son, really look at him. Because from where I'm sitting, you've let Jessica make a lot of decisions in this house without much pushback. About the renovations she wanted that erased your father's office. About getting rid of the furniture he loved. About treating me like an inconvenient houseguest in my own home. David flinches. That's not fair, Mom. We've tried to make you comfortable. Comfortable? The word comes out harsh. Your wife just sold my dog, David. The one thing I had left that made me feel connected to your father. The one thing that got me through the worst days after he died. She sold him like he was a piece of furniture she didn't like anymore. And you're telling me you've tried to make me comfortable. He doesn't have an answer for that. We sit in heavy silence until we hear Jessica's car pull into the driveway. She sweeps in carrying shopping bags, her face brightening when she sees David. Oh, good. You're home early. I found the most amazing sale at Nordstrom. You won't believe... She stops when she sees both of our faces. David, what's wrong? You sold Mum's dog without telling her, he says, his voice flat. Jessica sets down her bags carefully. I explained to her why it was necessary. The fur situation was out of control, David. You said so yourself just last week. I said it was a lot of shedding. I didn't say to sell him behind her back while she was at grief counselling. Well, what did you expect me to do? Ask permission? She would have said no, and we'd still be living with that hairy beast, making a mess of everything. I stand up, my chair scraping against the floor. His name was Max, and he was not a beast. He was a sweet, loyal, loving dog who never did anything but try to comfort me while I mourned my husband. Jessica turns to me, her expression annoyed. Linda, you're being ridiculous. It's been 3 months. At some point, you need to move on with your life instead of using a dog as a crutch. Jessica, David says, warning in his tone. But she's on a roll now, her voice rising. No, David, someone needs to say it. Your mother has been wallowing in grief for 3 months, barely leaving the house except for that support group, crying at the dinner table, keeping that smelly dog as some kind of shrine to your father. It's not healthy. I did her a favour by getting rid of it. A favour? I move closer to her, and something in my expression makes her take a step back. You think you did me a favor by stealing the last piece of my husband I had left. I didn't steal anything. I rehomed an animal to a better situation. Without my permission. Without my knowledge. While I was trying to heal from the worst loss of my life. Jessica's face hardens. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Everything is about you and your loss and your pain. What about David? He lost his father too. What about me trying to make a home here while walking on eggshells around your constant sadness? Jessica, that's enough, David says, standing up now. No, it's not enough. I'm tired of pretending. Tired of living in a house that's more shrine than home. Tired of dealing with dog hair and depression and being made to feel like the villain for wanting a clean, normal life. I feel something shift inside me. The grief and shock that have been clouding my thinking since this afternoon start to clear, replaced by cold, sharp clarity. You're right about one thing, I say quietly. This needs to be resolved. But not the way you think. Jessica crosses her arms. Finally, some reason. David, I turn to my son, get the deed to this house, the will, the trust documents, all of them. He looks confused. Mum, what are you… Get them, now. They're in the safe in your father's study. You know the combination. David glances between Jessica and me, then heads toward the study. Jessica watches him go, a small frown creasing her perfect forehead. What exactly do you think you're proving here, Linda? You'll see. We wait in tense silence until David returns with a folder of documents. He spreads them on the kitchen table, and I point to the relevant sections I've already highlighted. Read this part, Jessica. Out loud so we're all clear. She picks up the deed, her eyes scanning the legal language. Her frown deepens. The property known as 847 Oakwood Drive shall pass to David Michael Harrison in trust, with lifetime tenancy rights granted to Linda Marie Harrison. Said tenancy cannot be revoked, modified, or challenged without her explicit written consent. Keep reading, I say. All decisions regarding the property, including but not limited to renovations, sales, leases, or changes in primary residence, require the written consent of Linda Marie Harrison during her lifetime tenancy period. Jessica sets down the deed, her face pale now. David, did you know about this? He nods slowly. Dad explained it to me before he died. He wanted to make sure Mom would always have a home, always have security. But you inherited the house. In trust, I clarify, which means he owns it, but he can't do anything with it without my approval. And I have the right to live here, in this house, for the rest of my life if I choose to. You, on the other hand, have no legal standing here whatsoever. You're here as David's wife, but this isn't your house, Jessica. It never was. She's breathing faster now, anger and something that might be fear mixing in her expression. This is insane. You can't seriously expect… I interrupt, my voice steady and cold, that you will help me find Max. Today, right now. You're going to remember every detail you can about those people who bought him, and we're going to track them down, and you're going to get my dog back. I don't remember anything useful. I told you that. Then you'd better start trying harder, because until Max is back in this house, you're going to find your life here very uncomfortable. Jessica's eyes flash. Are you threatening me? I'm explaining reality to you. You seem confused about who has power in this situation. Let me clarify. I do. This is my house, with my rules, and my consent required for everything. Don't like dog hair? Too bad. Don't like the furniture? Too bad. Don't like living with a grieving widow? Then perhaps you should find somewhere else to live. David! Jessica whirls on my son. Are you going to let her talk to me like this? David looks at his wife and I see something in his face I haven't seen in months. Disappointment. You sold Mom's dog without permission, Jess. Her husband's last gift to her. What did you think was going to happen? I thought you'd support me. I'm your wife. And she's my mother. And you were cruel. Unnecessarily, unbelievably cruel. Jessica's mouth opens and closes. She looks between us, clearly realizing she's lost this battle. Fine. I'll try to remember more details, but I'm telling you I don't know much. Start with what you do know, I say. The ad, the responses, every word they wrote to you. We go back to the computer, all three of us now. Jessica pulls up the email chain with trembling hands, and I see details I missed before. The buyers mentioned they lived near the new elementary school on Park Avenue. They said they had a big backyard with a fence. Their daughter was turning 7 next week. It's not much, but it's something. Margaret's son Brian arrives an hour later with more information. He's traced the email to an IP address that corresponds to a coffee shop on Park Avenue. Not the buyer's home, but close to it, probably. He's also pulled up property records for houses near the elementary school with large backyards. There are 17 possibilities, he says, spreading out a map. All of them have school-age children according to county records. We could canvass door to door. Let's start now, I say, grabbing my coat. Jessica stays behind, her earlier bravado completely deflated. David comes with us, and over the next 2 hours we knock on 14 doors. Most people are helpful but haven't seen Max. Some haven't even heard about a dog being sold in the neighbourhood. At the 15th house, a ranch-style home with a large oak tree in the front yard, a little girl answers the door with her father behind her. The moment the door opens, I hear it, barking. Max's distinctive bark. Yes? The father asks, confused by the group of people on his porch. I'm looking for a golden retriever, I say, my voice shaking. 4 years old. Sold to you this morning by my daughter-in-law. Understanding dawns on his face, followed by concern. Oh no. Sarah, go to your room, honey. But Daddy, I want to show them Max. My heart clenches hearing his name in her small voice. Room. Now. His tone brooks no argument, and the girl trudges away, calling for Max to follow her. The father steps out onto the porch, closing the door behind him. I'm Tom Fletcher. I bought the dog this morning from a woman who said she was rehoming him because of allergies. She had all his vet records, his registration, everything looked legitimate. Did she mention that the dog belonged to someone else? Someone who didn't consent to the sale? He pales. No, absolutely not. She said it was her dog. That she'd had him since he was a puppy, but her daughter had developed allergies. I would never have bought him if I'd known there was any question about ownership. David steps forward. Mr. Fletcher, I'm Linda's son. The woman who sold you Max is my wife, and she had no right to sell that dog. He belonged to my mother, was given to her by my late father 3 months ago. She's been searching for him all day. Tom runs his hand through his hair, looking genuinely distressed. God, I'm so sorry. Sarah's already attached to him. She's been playing with him all day, and it's the happiest I've seen her since... He stops, swallows hard. Since her mother passed away 6 months ago. The words hit me like a truck. This man is grieving too. His daughter is grieving. They bought Max hoping for exactly what Max gave me. Comfort. Connection. Love. We stand there in awful silence. 2 people who've lost their spouses, 1 dog between us who represents hope for both. I'll pay you back the money, I finally say. Whatever Jessica charged you. And I'm so sorry for what you and your daughter are going through. I truly am. But Max is all I have left of my husband. I need him. Tom's eyes are wet. I understand. I do. But Sarah, she's been so withdrawn since her mom died. Today was the first time I've heard her laugh in months. If I take Max away from her now... I know, I whisper. I know exactly how she feels. We look at each other, 2 people trapped in an impossible situation. Then Brian speaks up. What if there was another option? I know someone who breeds golden retrievers, has a litter that's about 6 weeks old right now, ready to go to homes in another couple weeks. What if... He looks at me. What if you let Mr. Fletcher keep Max, and I help you get one of the puppies? I'll cover the cost myself. Brian, no, Margaret says. That's too much. But I'm shaking my head anyway. It wouldn't be Max. It wouldn't be the dog Michael chose for me. No, Tom says quietly. What if I keep Max, but you could visit whenever you wanted. Sarah and I were home most evenings and weekends. You could spend time with him. Maybe it would be good for Sarah to meet someone else who understands what she's going through. I stare at him, this stranger offering me a kindness I don't deserve after what Jessica put him through. I couldn't ask you to do that. You're not asking. I'm offering. Look, Mrs. Harrison, I bought that dog thinking I was helping my daughter heal. But if taking him away from you does the same damage to you that I'm trying to prevent for Sarah, then I'm just passing the pain around. Maybe we can find a different way. Shared custody of a dog? Margaret sounds skeptical. But I'm thinking about that little girl inside, playing with Max, laughing for the first time in months. I'm thinking about Michael, what he would want. He gave me Max to ease my loneliness, to give me purpose and love. Would he want me to take that away from a grieving child? Can I see him? I ask. Can I just see Max for a minute? Tom nods and opens the door. Sarah, can you bring Max out here, honey? There's the sound of running feet, and then Max bounds into view, his tail wagging like a propeller. When he sees me, he goes absolutely wild, breaking away from Sarah and jumping up, his paws on my chest, his whole body wiggling with joy. I bury my face in his fur and cry. Hey, boy, I sob. Hey, sweet boy, I missed you so much. He licks my face, whining and wiggling, and I know in this moment that he loves me, that he missed me too, that Jessica was wrong about everything. I look up at Tom, at his daughter standing in the doorway watching us with wide eyes. Does he make you happy? I ask Sarah. She nods, her small voice barely audible. He's the best dog ever. He already knows his name. And he slept on my bed and didn't even mind when I hugged him too tight. I smile through my tears. He's very good at being hugged. My husband used to say Max was part dog, part teddy bear. Your husband died? Sarah asks, her eyes getting even wider. Like my mommy? Yes, honey, like your mommy. She comes closer, tentatively, and reaches out to pet Max. Does it make you sad all the time? Most of the time, I admit, but Max helps. He makes the sad a little easier. She nods seriously. He makes me feel better too. Daddy says Mommy would have liked him. I look at Tom, see the grief and hope mixing in his face, and make my decision. What if we shared him? I ask. What if Max lived here with you and Sarah, but I could visit sometimes? Maybe take him to the park on weekends. That way he gets to help both of us. Sarah's face lights up. Really? You'd let us keep him? If your dad agrees, and if you promise to take very good care of him. I promise. She throws her arms around Max's neck. Did you hear that, Max? You get to stay. Tom extends his hand to me. Mrs. Harrison, you're incredibly kind. I'd be honoured to share Max with you. And please, call me Tom. We shake on it, and I feel something loosen in my chest. Not the grief. That's still there, probably always will be, but the desperate panic from earlier, the fury at Jessica, the sense that I'd lost the last piece of Michael. That eases, because Max is still here, still loving me, still part of my life, just in a different way than I expected. We exchange phone numbers, and I promise to come by Saturday afternoon to take Max to the dog park. Sarah is already making plans about what toys we should bring and what tricks we should teach him. On the drive home, David is quiet. Margaret keeps looking at me with concern. Are you sure about this, honey? She asks. You could have fought for him. Legally, he's yours. I know, but that little girl needs him as much as I do. Maybe more. And I realised something standing there with Tom Fletcher. Michael didn't give me Max to make me more isolated, more focused on my loss. He gave me Max to connect me to life again, to love again. Maybe this is exactly what Max is supposed to do. Help two families heal instead of one. When we get home, Jessica is waiting in the living room, her face anxious. Did you find him? I found him, I say calmly. He's staying with the family that bought him. What? But I thought... You thought I'd rip him away from a 7-year-old girl who just lost her mother. You thought I'd cause more pain and grief just to get what I wanted. I sit down across from her. No, Jessica, that's something you would do. Not me. She has the grace to look ashamed. But make no mistake, I continue. What you did was unforgivable. You sold something precious to me out of spite and selfishness. You didn't even care enough to remember who you sold him to, and you did it while I was trying to heal from losing my husband. Linda, I'm sorry. I really am. I didn't think about it like that. That's exactly the problem. You didn't think. Not about my feelings, not about Max's well-being, not about anything except your own convenience. I lean forward. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to start treating me with respect in this house. You're going to consult me before making any decisions that affect our shared living space. And you're going to remember that this is my home, Jessica. Mine. You live here at my pleasure, not the other way around. She nods, tears in her eyes now. I understand. Do you? Because I wonder if you understand what you almost destroyed today. That dog was the last piece of my husband I had, the last thing he chose for me, the last gift he gave me before cancer took him away, and you sold him for $200 and some peace and quiet. I really am sorry, she whispers. I know you are, now. But sorry doesn't fix broken trust, Jessica. That's going to take time, a lot of time, and it's going to take effort from you, real effort. Starting with respecting that this house has room for grief, for memories, for things that matter more than clean floors and designer furniture. David sits down next to his wife, taking her hand. Mum's right, Jess. We need to do better. I need to do better. I should have stood up for her from the beginning. I look at my son, seeing more of his father in him than I have in months. Thank you, David. That night I call Tom to check on Max. Sarah answers the phone, breathless and happy. Mrs. Harrison, Max learned to sit on command. Do you want to hear him? I smile, tears rolling down my face. I would love to hear him, sweetheart. There's shuffling, then Sarah's voice commanding Max to sit, then his happy bark, then her delighted laughter. It's the sweetest sound I've heard in months. When Tom gets back on the phone, he says, "Thank you, seriously. You have no idea what this means to us." I think I have some idea. And Tom, thank you for sharing him with me, for understanding. Sarah wants to know if you'd like to come to dinner on Saturday before the park. She wants to make you her famous spaghetti. By which I mean Chef Boyardee with extra cheese. I laugh and it feels strange after crying for so long. I would love that. As I hang up the phone, I feel Michael's presence so strongly it's like he's standing right beside me. I can almost hear his voice, warm and proud. That's my girl. Finding a way to turn pain into love. That's exactly why I knew you'd take care of Max. Because you know how to take care of people's hearts. I look around the living room, at the photos of Michael still on the mantel, at the chair where he used to sit and read, at the life we built together in this house. Jessica didn't understand that you can't pack up grief and store it away like old furniture. It lives with you. It becomes part of who you are, but it doesn't have to be the only part. Michael taught me that, and in his own way, through Max and through this impossible day, he's still teaching me. I may have lost the daily companionship of that sweet golden retriever, but I gained something else. A connection to another family who understands loss, who knows how precious and fragile love is, who will treat Max with the kindness he deserves. And I got my power back. Jessica won't forget this lesson anytime soon. Neither will David. This is my house, my life, my choice how to grieve and how to heal. Michael would be proud, and somehow, I know Max is exactly where he's supposed to be, doing exactly what Michael intended, spreading love, bringing comfort, helping hearts heal. Just not in the way any of us expected.